Hi, I'm Sophie, and welcome to my world. Well, here I've got yet another installment of Q&A with Sophie for you, and this is Q&A number 12. I know, a round dozen. Can you believe we've had a dozen Q&As? It's amazing. You guys just keep asking awesome questions. So, let's start with the first one here from LPS Ice Cream. LPS Ice Cream says, what do you think of collectible toys like vinyl figures and blind bags? And do you ever have pet-themed parties? And if so, what pet? Okay, so let me answer the first part here. What do you think of collectible toys like vinyl figures and blind bags? Okay, I think that they're adorable, and I think it's really super cute. And I think when I was a kid, I had my own little miniature collection of these little tiny fuzzy mice, and I loved them. So I think for kids, collecting is a great hobby. And you know, as an adult, if you are buying a kid a present, it's always fun to know, if a kid collects something, it's awesome because you can go out and you can buy the perfect present by getting something that they like to collect. So I think collections are great. And blind bags are fun because you just never know what's inside, and everybody likes a surprise, right? Now, do I have pet-themed parties? Yes, we do. We do pet-themed parties, but what I mean by that is we do like a pet vet party. We don't really bring pets to a party and let the pets have a party. What we do is we do stuffed animals, and then we set up a whole like veterinary clinic, and we have the kids make little carrier bags for their dogs and kitties and that sort of stuff, and they go through a whole little adoption process, and we go to a little boarding school, and we teach them obedience classes and stuff like that. So we do a pet vet party, but we don't really do like a pet party where pets come to the party. It's just too confusing, and a lot of animals don't get along well with other animals, so we try to keep animals separated. We just keep the kids. Anna F says, do you ever run out of crafting ideas, and how do you choose what crafts you do? Do I ever run out of crafting ideas? Tell you truthfully, there's so many ideas out there, Anna F, that I have yet to run out of ideas. But I'm not going to say that it won't ever happen, because there can come a time when you get like writer's block or crafter's block. But as of yet, no. I have not had a moment when I couldn't think of some sort of craft to do. Now, I'm not going to say that I can think up a craft for every single holiday or every single, party theme. I'm not going to say that I can do that. But for most part, I can usually figure out something to do for pretty much anything. Martin Luther King Day is a little tricky. There's some days that are a little tricky. How do I choose what crafts to do? It depends on how much time I have. It depends on how much prep time I have. It depends on the things that you guys, my viewers, are asking to see. And it depends on the season. Sometimes I need to make sure that I'm doing back to school, or I need to be doing Halloween, or I need to be thinking about Christmas or Hanukkah or some sort of winter solstice-y kind of a thing. It depends on timing. A lot of times there's so many crafts that I would like to do, especially ones that you in the audience have asked for, and there's just not enough time to get to them. I've been dying to do an entire series on dollhouse furniture and dollhouses. I just haven't had the time to get to it. And it's not that I don't want to, it's just finding the time to be able to make it and also make it work for the video schedule, because we shoot our videos and then we set up a schedule of how those videos get displayed throughout the next 2 months or 3 months. So we actually have a calendar that we keep pretty solidly, and we try to do that ahead of time and make it work with the seasons. Cassidy H asks, do you have any social media, and if so, what are they? Yes, I do, Cassidy. I have Instagram, I have Pinterest, I have Facebook, and I have YouTube, and I have a website, and I think that's it. Twitter. Oh, I have Twitter. My cameraman is saying, you have Twitter, you have Twitter. And I have Twitter, sorry about that. So yes, I have all of those. They're all linked so that when I put something on one, they all go to the, so I don't really think about how many different places I'm social mediaizing, if that's a word. But the best way to find out what they are, because I always find it a little hard to remember, so here's the deal. Go to my website, Sophie-World.com, and up in the corner, in the right-hand corner, you're going to see all the different little icons, and you can just click on them, and then you can join and follow and do all that fun stuff. I have to tell you, there's so much social media that it makes my head spin sometimes. It's really fun, and it's really great, and it's amazing to look at it all, but trying to keep track of it all sometimes can be a pretty daunting task. Henry P. asks, how did you become a crafter? Well, I became a crafter because my Grammy Yoakum, who was a wonderful influence in my life, was a crafter. And she got me started when I was about 3 years old, and I've been crafting ever since. Ishani R. says, what do you and Connor have in common? And I love this. I love this. What do Connor and I have in common? Other than knowing each other for 11 years. We've known each other for 11 years. I met him when he was 5. I think we share a sense of humor. I think we share a love of theater. I think we share a love of laughter and jokes and just music and just having a good time together. I think Connor is a fascinating person, and I love that I have been able to see him grow up all these years, just because I've been lucky and blessed enough to be part of his life, and he part of mine. So I think the two of us have in common is that we're just plain silly, both of us. Emily T. says, when you go to parties, do kids ever ask you to give them stuff, or make them stuff, or give them duct tape? I love this question. This is a good question. I get this all the time on YouTube too. Can you send me this? Can I have that? Can I? And you know, I wish that I could give everybody everything that they want. I really do. However, the hard part about it is that I have a business that I run, and I need those materials for the things that I do. If I give everything away that I have, then I won't be able to use them at workshops. And I do a lot of workshops for kids that can't afford to have those materials in their lives. I bring those materials to them free of charge so that they can use them when they're with me. And I've found that it can become very tricky if you give one child a roll of duct tape, because then all the children are going to want duct tape, and the problem is that I don't have enough duct tape to give to all the kids at every library that I go to. I'll go to a library and I'll have 70 kids there. I can't give every single one of them a roll of duct tape. I don't have that much duct tape. And I need it for the next day when I go to another library where I'll have 70 kids. So unfortunately, I've found that it's best for me to bring the product to them, bring them all the supplies that I can think of that they would enjoy, and let them use every single bit of it while they're with me in those classes. And then they can come back another time and use more materials. That's the best way that I've found for me to deal with the situation where people ask me to make them things or give them things. I wish I could give them to everybody, but unfortunately there has to be a cutoff point. And let's see, Olivia Wallet asks, if you have kids, what would you name them? Okay, this is kind of a, it's a kind of funny question that I like. Okay, so names. I love the name Sparky. I think it'd be really fun to name a boy Sparky. And if I had a little girl, I would name her Courtney, because I was supposed to be a Courtney, but my mom named me Sophie instead, and I've always loved the name Courtney. So Courtney and Sparky, I think, would be fun. I also love the name Max. I like the version Maximilian, but I also love the shortened version of Max. Those are, I think, the 3 names that I like the best. If I had a 4th child, I think I'd name him Binky. Okay. Emma B says, what was your first party ever? What was the theme? And what was the last party you just did? Okay, so let me go backwards. The last party that I just did was super, super fun party. And actually, there was a little boy there named Magnus, which is another good name. And it was a robot making party. So we made all these really cute and adorable robots out of all kinds of different parts, bottles and TP tubes and duct tape and all kinds of really cool stuff. And it was a really, really super, super fun party. The first party I ever did, or I should say was part of, was a princess party that I did for a little girl that I babysat for. And it was adorable. Her mom said, make me a party. And this is actually how my business started. She gave me a budget, and she said, here's your budget, make a party. And so the little girl and I worked for 3 weeks in turning her garage into a princess castle, and we had a princess party. So that was the very first party I ever did, and I planned it with the child that I babysat for. So that was a pretty special party. It was really special because it was all about her. And I think that was the most fun I'd ever had. And I think that that's why I continued doing parties, because it was the most fun that I ever had. Ashlyn L. asks, if you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Oh, this is such a hard question because I love food. Food is so tasty. And there's so many tasty things. I'm going to make a statement right now that probably is going to get me into trouble, but I am a huge carnivore. I love meat. I love protein. I'm a big protein girl. So if I was going to choose one food that I could eat for the rest of my life, it would probably be some sort of grilled meat, either chicken or steak or fish or hot dog. I really like hot dogs. Is that bad to admit? So anyway, I'm a carnivore, so I think I would say meat, meaty, meat. That would be my answer. Okay, that's the end of Q&A number 12. You've learned a lot about me, and now I'm slightly embarrassed. I'm afraid that the Vegetarian Society is going to come after me. But I do like my vegetables. I want you to know that too. I do like my vegetables a lot. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask that you haven't heard of yet in Q&A number 1 through 12, write it down below, and I promise I will answer it in the next Q&A. For more fun stuff, come and check us out at Sophie-World.com.